Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard 2 Real Survival. In the last episode, we actually did quite a lot of stuff, traipsing around the police station, and even at one point we discovered the fate of one of the STARS members, Brad Chickenheart Vickers, who unfortunately has met a rather grisly end, who became a zombie, or we found him as a zombie, wandering around outside the police station, and we've put him to rest. But more importantly, our next order of business is to unlock the two diamond doors, which are there one either side of the police station, both of them on the first floor. So should pretty much go do that. I'll just store away these ink ribbons for later, and it's probably a risky move, but I think I should at some point showcase the Colt single arm reaction sooner rather than later. So off we go. I think I'll unlock the east door first, and then make my way west. And once again you can see the ponytail of Claire swishing as she descends the ladder. Now we have a bit of downtime. I will briefly touch upon the Biohazard 2 remake. I know there's been a lot of quite a lot of footage that's been released now, and the game itself will actually drop in January. I imagine that YouTube will be flooded with Biohazard 2 remake Let's Plays following January 25th. Now that we've cleared this room of zombies, we can now unlock this first door, which I believe is the room opposite the interrogation, or it's the second interrogation room, one with a where we can see the other side of the magic mirror. But first and foremost, this item is actually fairly important. A cord to connect wires on small electric devices, such as the shutters in the western area. We're going to be putting that to use very soon, but there is the magic mirror. Whoever's in there can see into this room, which is very typical police stations. But more importantly is this item, the Eagle Stone. It's no Eagle medal, but I suppose it will suffice. All we have to do is find the other half of that. Oh god! There was a... Oh, and there's the tongue. Oh, and I got hit. That was a surprise lunge attack from the liquor. But fortunately I didn't get hit too bad. Though I think that tongue attack does, I think, a fair amount of damage. But funnily enough, being swiped with its claws doesn't deal Claire much damage, even though given the fact that it has huge claws on both hands, which is kind of odd. But before we actually, well, seeing as how we're heading over to the west side of the precinct. I'm actually going to use that cord on the shutter door to, or the shutter controls to lower the emergency shutters, and hopefully keep any zombies out from going through that area. Because we are, need to remind you, we are still deep in the heart of Raccoon City. No, that's the inventory. So yeah, basically by using the cord, the emergency shutters descend immediately, but there is a problem. The cord will short out soon. That will. As you can see by the sparking here and there. I'm actually gonna go back and yeah, I'm actually gonna go back and place that eagle stone with a much more versatile weapon, i.e. the grenade launcher. Because if I run into a horde of zombies at some point, bowgun and the handgun alone will not save me. Not against a large cluster of enemies, if I happen to get trapped. But luckily enough, this shouldn't take very long. Keeping it real in the spirit of real survival, after all. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a real survival let's play. So, we'll exchange the grenade launcher, and I think I'll leave the grenade rounds for now. Wondering, yeah, I'll keep the Colt on me just in case, because I will be using it at least once during this Let's Play adventure. Back down we go. And the other room that's currently locked with diamond locked is actually a room right next to the room that Marvin's in. And again, I must wonder why Claire doesn't talk to Marvin through the reception area. Those shutters are going to unfortunately open again at some point the moment that cord shorts out, so we need to pick up the pace a little bit. Though having said that, probably hopefully if we play our cards right, won't have to go through that hall anymore. But ready the Colt and unlock this final door, the final diamond door, I should say, which is now useless. Excellent. We've got 2 item slots at the ready. So in we go. Oh, and it's an evidence room, and oh, that's reload. Some revolver ocelot there, and we should probably reload again. Oh. 6 shots, but incredibly useful, even though I did get injured. Oh, you were allowed to lunge, good sir. Nice try. Checking my shots. One more bullet. Ooh. Oh, not quite. Take that. And that is the power of the Colt single action army. Definitely a incredibly useful handgun, even if it only holds 6 bullets. If this was if the Colt SAA was a Magnum gun, there was no way in hell that I would waste it on zombies. I could have actually, well, then again, this room is actually fairly confined, so hitting them, most of the group of the zombies is, with a grenade round is probably a tall order. But we appear to be in an evidence locker of, well, this is the evidence room, where they confiscated a lot of stuff. I wonder what we'll find. But, has to be something behind here. Appears to be another film. Sure, we'll take that. We'll have to heal at some point. Oh, and you were alive, cheater. Still on yellow caution, but I might have to use that those herbs. Let's see what else is in here. Bowgun rounds, excellent. And I think I will use those herbs just in case. And this lock is broken, so we'll use the lockpick. Although if the lock is broken, well, how can we actually use the lockpick? But more importantly, this is a C4 that was confiscated by the officer in question. Neil Carlson, that was his name. All I need now to destroy the wall being blocked by the helicopter is a detonator. But before we go looking for that, I'm actually going to head back to the dark room to develop that film. So it might contain something useful, believe it or not. And conveniently, since we're near the dark room anyway, we should, well, it would behoove us to actually see what is on it, and also free up some inventory space. Fortunately, Claire seems to know how to develop film. Maybe she studied photography. Speaking of which, does anyone remember, well, for those of you who are in New Zealand, and they were probably worldwide, does anyone still remember Kodak from way back when? I certainly do. Those were good times. Now this is film A of a rather grotesque looking arm encased in a red liquid in a laboratory tube tank. Yet another series of experiments by the Umbrella Corporation, I believe. Code G Human Body Experiment. And it's dated the 15th of September, 3:24 p.m. Well, we now have somewhat definitive proof of the existence of the G virus. It actually begs the question, just how and why did the negative for this photo end up in the police locker? Wonder if the police knew exactly what they had, or whether the police even were the ones who put it in there in the first place. But the film A has been filed, which is excellent. And we should now get going. Back through the evidence room we go, and we should actually be able to catch up with Marvin again at this point. Apparently this door was locked from this side, which means that Marvin, even though he locked the door from the other side, he couldn't get in through this way. But he probably wasn't intending to. And there is that ominous music once again. And there's a herb over there. That probably shouldn't take it for the time being. I know I'm being a bit risky with that. And this blackboard apparently has today's date. September 29th, Michael Festival. Now, if memory serves, the name of the mayor of Raccoon City is Michael Warren, who I believe actually managed to escape when all this was unfolding. There doesn't appear to be any sign of Marvin whatsoever. He's not in front of the locker, so let's see what was behind this locker, which by the way actually has the name Jojo on the nameplate. Lo and behold, more handgun bullets to make up the ones that I inadvertently wasted against all the zombies. What is this? Memo to Leon. To Leon S. Kennedy, congratulations on your assignment to the Raccoon City Police Department. We all look forward to having you as part of our team and promise to take good care of you. Welcome aboard, from all the guys at the RPD. Well, that's a touching letter. It's a shame that Leon won't be here to read this. The memo to Leon has been filed. And we're now here on the other side of the reception desk. There's a waiting room by the reception desk. I know it says there's waiting room, but I was just filling in the blanks. Again, how Claire and Marvin couldn't communicate through this, I give up at this point. But I'm not going to unlock that door just yet. Actually still need to find Marvin, and there's some party hats around, and there's well, Claire can't see it, but there is actually a notice saying welcome Leon that's behind there. Something bad definitely happened in this room. There is appears to be another headless corpse here, and there appears to be there's Marvin having dragged himself over here. We should see if he's okay. Unfortunately, he's not okay. That's transmogrification. It's time for a quick draw. You were not dead. The music had stopped, and you were dead, but you weren't dead. and I'll fire 2 more bullets in your honor. There we go. I'm alive again. And I just walked over Marvin's corpse. Marvin Branner, you were probably the finest police officer ever to serve the Raccoon Police Department. You will be sorely missed. But more importantly is the fact that Marvin had the detonator on his desk here. If indeed this is in fact Marvin's office, which I'm pretty sure it is. If we examine the detonator, it's a charge detonator. It's useless by itself. However, we combine the I don't want to examine it again. If we combine it with the C4 plastic explosive, we now have the bomb and detonator together. I can clear the wreckage away with this. That we shall. And I have enough room in my inventory now to actually get that herb there, which I'll definitely be taking with me. Sure, just so. That was the life of Marvin Branner. I think he might have been a sergeant or lieutenant in the RPD. But unfortunately, he has met his end at the hands of the T-virus. That, ladies and gentlemen, was another instance of zombie transmogrification. We can finally unlock this door from this side and go through it, because we are never coming through this office space as long as we can help it. We've done our business, so now we must press onwards. Clear away that wall with the C4. And I think I will get rid of the Colt single army action. I want to show it off in this episode, but it's fast and it actually sends zombies reeling, but it only holds 6 bullets. Of course, if those bullets were Magnum bullets, I would not waste the Colt single action army on any sort of enemy. But it's not a Magnum, unfortunately. I don't think I need anything else at the moment, so I believe we're good to go. Once again, we have a bit of downtime ahead of us, because right now we are going to take out this wall, and we're also going to see, because that's where the scream of that woman came from earlier, when we were here last time. But now we'll set the charge and be ready to run, because C4 is quite explosive. Case in point, and I'm surprised I didn't bring the entire building down. But see if there's anything on this side of the... no, there doesn't appear to be. But the way is now open. That's one way to get through a ruined door. And at the end of this corridor is a rather ornate looking door with quite interesting patterns on it. Apparently it's not locked. As I live and breathe, this has to be the most ornate room that I've ever seen in this entire precinct. I mean, the carpeting, the chandelier, the table in the middle of the room. This is a very ostentatious space. and there's a body of a woman in a silk dress on this lying on this table here. Well, I think it's safe to say it's too late to save her. So, might see if she has anything on her.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were another one of those zombies.
Are you Chief Irons?
But yes, that's me. And just who are you? No, don't bother telling me. It makes no difference. You'll end up just like all the others. That's the mayor's daughter. I was told to look after her, but I failed miserably. Just look at her. She was a true beauty. Her skin nothing short of perfection. But it will soon putrefy and she will turn into a zombie within the hour like all the others.
There must be some way to stop it.
In a manner of speaking, there is. Either by putting a bullet through her brain, or by decapitating her completely. And to think that taxidermy used to be my hobby. But no longer. Please. I'd really like to be alone now.
Well. We are face to face with the Chief of Police, Mr. Brian Irons himself, who clearly has been affected by what's been happening in the precinct thus far, and perhaps in the entirety of Raccoon. But this is the man who was suspected of rape during his university years, as told to us by Jack Hamilton, and don't forget that this is the man who actually covered up the mansion incident after the stars returned. But he is right about the methods, the most effective methods of stopping people from transmogrifying into zombies. Although this woman appears to have been shot in the torso rather than the head. And, yeah, Irons is a very creepy, unsettling individual indeed. Various trophies. There's nothing strange about them. Didn't you hear what he said about his hobby being taxidermy? Yeah. And of course, if we try to, I believe if we try to talk with him any further...
Please. I'd really like to be alone now.
And he also has the ability to glitch out that entire scene, unfortunately. Which is rather unfortunate. But, yeah, remember what I said about Chris and Irons not getting along with each other? It's a good thing that Claire didn't introduce herself, because if Irons knew that Claire was Chris's sister, things probably would not end well, especially given Irons' state of mind here. But, there is actually nothing else that we can apparently examine in Irons' little office space, so there is a store over here that we can go through. And that is a very realistic looking tiger. A stuffed animal. I'm guessing that was actually a tiger. And not a replica. You have my sympathies. And lo and behold, another narrow corridor. But this one is far more gaudy and fancy than this carpet, wallpaper, and lighting can only have been paid for by money. Legal money at that, or under the table money. Huh. That definitely sounded like footsteps. Let's follow them. See where they lead. Whoever's running away from us clearly doesn't want to be found, so we'll go in here, and lights off, and it's dark, but fortunately we can see that there's a switch there in what little light is actually entering the room. We shall press it, and see who our mystery runner is.
Wait!
Let me go!
Easy, easy there! I'm not a zombie! You're safe now. Leon, come in. I found the girl, and I've cleared the wreckage that was blocking the corridor.
Got it.
My name's Claire. What's yours?
Sherry.
Do you know where your parents are?
They both work at the Umbrella Chemical Plant, near the city limits.
The chemical plant? Then what are you doing here?
My mom called and told me to go to the police station because it was too dangerous to stay at home.
From the look of things, I'd say she was probably right. But it's dangerous here as well. You'd better come with me.
But there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I saw it. Much larger than any of those zombies. And it's coming after me.
What was that?
That's what I was telling you about. It's here.
Sherry, wait!
Well, that was truly ominous. Well, good news is we found the child that was running around the police station earlier. Her name is apparently Sherry. Unfortunately, Sherry has informed us of something else that has been wandering around the precinct. Something that we just heard growling momentarily before Sherry ran off. Yeah, so in addition to zombies and lickers, there is something even worse than either of those put together that is after Sherry, apparently. And this being biohazard, we're probably going to have to fight it. I did glimpse something on this bench here. Appears to be another diary of the Secretary of Chief Irons. Secretary's Diary B. June 8th. As I was straightening up the Chief's room, he burst through the door with a furious look on his face. It's only been 2 months since I started working here, but that's the second time I've seen him like this. This was dated, this was dated just before the, or probably even during the, well, maybe before the Arklay murders actually started happening in Raccoon, because the actual outbreak in the Arklay laboratory began in May. The last time was when I bumped into that statue, only this time he looked even more agitated than ever. I seriously thought for a moment that he was going to hurt me. You probably should have considered changing careers. June 15th. I finally discovered what the Chief has been hiding all along. If he finds out that I know, my life will be in serious danger. It's getting late already. I'm just going to have to take this one day at a time. And there is nothing more. So, we can probably derive two things. Both of them, coming to the conclusion that the Secretary met a rather unfortunate fate. If not by the zombies or the T-virus, then certainly by the hands of Brian Irons. The secretary diary B has been filed, or the secretary's diary, I should say. Is there anything else in here? Fireplace doesn't look like it's been used. Portrait doesn't have anything, but there is a chest. Let's open it and see what's inside. And lo and behold, first aid spray. It's always good to find first aid sprays. And Sherry has run away again. And this appears to be more of Iron's art collection. Let's just head around here. More objects of art, and it's just basically a small art collection. And suits of armor. They're very well maintained. And of course, oh dear. Going through here, Sherry would have had to have run past Irons, and if he was asleep or unconscious, hopefully she'd get by. But if he was awake and lucid, then there might be problems.
Chief?
Speak of the devil, he's vanished mysteriously. And there's an object here. Let's actually have a look at it. That's the heart key. And I was actually going to, I'd actually forgotten about it when I was battling Marvin, but remember what Elliot Edwards' operation report said that the, well, this is the heart key, the door that leads to the underground, which was located, well, the door itself was located in the east offices, and this key was actually supposed to be in the west offices with Marvin. But that key was not there, but luckily for us, Iron seems to have left it on his desk for us. Whether deliberately or not, we don't know, but he is gone. But there is something in his chair. A diary of some kind with the envelopes. I thought they were torn pages there for a second, but they were actually envelopes in a folder. Let's see what he has to say. September 23rd. It's all over. Those imbeciles from Umbrella have finally done it. Despite all their promises, they've ruined my town. Soon the streets will be infested with zombies. I'm beginning to think that I may be infected myself. I'll kill everyone in town if this turns out to be true. Looks like Irons has already been pushed past the breaking point, and this entry clearly states that he has been working with Umbrella for quite some time, that we already figured out. September 24th. I was successful in spreading confusion among the police as planned. I've made sure that no one from the outside comes to help. With the delays in police actions, no one will have the chance to escape my city alive. I've seen to it personally that all escape routes from inside the precinct have been cut off as well. There are several survivors still attempting to escape through the lower levels, but I'll make sure no one gets out. Your eyes are not deceiving you, adventurers. Brian Irons has clearly snapped and gone off the proverbial deep end. It appears in his insanity he's actually trying to keep people from actually escaping Raccoon, and is actually, believe it or not, sabotaging the efforts of his own police force, although given the fact that he is guilty of covering up the mansion incident and trying to discredit the stars, can we really put him above that at this point? September 26th. I've had a change of heart about the remaining survivors inside the precinct. I've decided to hunt them down myself. I shot Ed in the back through the heart less than an hour ago. I watched him writhe in pain upon the floor in a pool of his own blood. The expression on his face was positively exquisite. He died with his eyes wide open, staring up at me. It was beautiful. I wonder if the mayor's daughter is still alive. I let her escape so I could enjoy hunting her down later. I'm going to enjoy my new trophy. Yes, frozen forever in the pose I choose to give her. Yeah. Now we know the fate of Warren's daughter. Michael, you appointed a lunatic as your chief of police. Then again, Umbrella did have a hand in that, so that shouldn't really be surprising after all. Yeah, Irons is not a man to be trusted, even less so given his broken temperament. But it appears that Irons was actually planning to work his hobby on the body of Warren's daughter. The Chief's diary has been filed. It is truly grisly news indeed. Here's another piece of artwork that's slightly ajar. There's a button below the picture. Will you push it? Yes, we shall. And it appears to open a secret compartment. The sacrifice dies by the claw of the jaguar. Its blood forms a serpent that poisons the earth. An eagle glistens bathed in blood. And the gateway of doom will open. And there are 3 square indentations in this pictogram here. Mayhaps they be related to the stones that we've been finding so far. Also note that title, The Gateway of Doom. If you remember from my original Let's Play in Biohazard, the doorway leading out of the mansion, which was the exit to the courtyard, was tentatively titled The Gate of New Life. Here, it's the Gate of Doom, which is kind of a morbid throwback of sorts. But basically now we know what the stones are used for. The stones are essentially the equivalent of the crests that were used to open the Gate of New Life. But we only have 2.5 stones at the moment. We need to find the other half of that third stone. And given what was written on the riddle, we can only assume that the blue stone is the one depicting a jaguar, because we already have the eagle and serpent stones. Yeah, but we have no idea about Iron's whereabouts whatsoever, and that is a mystery that I'm happy to leave alone for the time being. Though I'm more than certain that we'll be crossing paths again very soon. And, well, I believe that I'm going to save in this room. Probably saving more times than I ought, but things have actually been... a lot has actually happened in this episode. I will keep everything else for the time being. I know I'm saving far too often, more than I would care to admit, but It is a necessary evil, I'm afraid. Fifth save. I've saved, I think, 3 times in the waiting room. The most saves that I've actually had for a while now. So, I actually believe that I'm going to call it an episode here, adventurers, and when we return, we shall actually put that heart key to good use. Because the only door that it unlocks is the one that's leading to the underground. And I'm getting terrible flashbacks from my previous Let's Play of Biohazard. Because we all know how fun the underground was in the Arklay Mansion. But that will be for the next episode. So with that I leave you. Until next we meet, adventurers.